Hi guys, it's Friday and it is a beautiful Friday. I can't wait to get this video made so that I can go outside. I've been inside all day and I've just been looking out my window at the sunshine, waiting to be able to go out there. So we are doing week 2 in our Lenten devotion series, and this week's theme is sharing our hearts. And first I'm going to read from the book of Luke in chapter 2, verses 41 through 52. This is telling a story about Jesus when he was a boy, not very old. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. When he was 12 years old, they went to the feast as they always did. After the feast days were over, they started home. The boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but his parents did not know. Thinking that Jesus was with them in the group, they traveled for a whole day. Then they began to look for him among their family and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him there. After 3 days, they found Jesus sitting in the temple with the leaders, listening to them and asking them questions. All who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. When Jesus' parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother, Mary, said to him, "Son, why did you do this to us? Your father and I were very worried about you and have been looking for you for days." Jesus said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Didn't you know that I must be in my Father's house?" But they did not understand the meaning of what he said. Jesus went with them to Nazareth and was obedient to them. But his mother kept in her mind all that had happened. Jesus became wiser and grew physically. People liked him and he pleased God. So he was 12 years old. That is 6th grade, probably, around there, just for a reference. So think about what it's like in Blair or Fort Calhoun or Arlington, Tekamah, these small communities that we live in. It is a real gift as a parent or a caregiver to live in a community that cares for your child, to be able to trust that people are looking out for your kid. Like, if your child decides to walk to the park, they probably know the way. They might know a couple people that live along the way if they need to stop and get something or need some help. And it's also a gift to know that if my child talks back to somebody, that I will probably hear about it because word gets around, right? Or it may be that someone tells my child, "Hey, that's not okay. You need to treat people with respect." Or even as a kid, as you guys, and it may not always feel this way, but to know that wherever you go, people are looking out for you. People are cheering for you. People are ready to step in and support you, offer kindness, help you up if you fall down, whatever's needed. That's what it means to be a community. We are a community. But not everyone is lucky enough to have a world like that around them. Mary and Joseph and their children were part of a community. They set out on this journey to Jerusalem with their community, with a group of people, a crowd almost, that were going to the same place for the same reason, the Passover. They all knew the way, they all knew each other, they were traveling together. And they trusted each other that if my child was over with this other family, I knew that they were okay. Or if I don't see my child all day, I know that he's with another group in my community and that they're taking care of him. If he started to wander, someone would grab him and say, "Hey, we got to go this way." If it's time for supper, he eats with his friends, family. But they know that they'll see him at the end of the day. They know that their son Jesus is going to come back at the end of the day and close the day with them and sleep with them. But this time, Jesus doesn't show up. He doesn't connect with them. They start asking. Nobody's seen him, and they panic. Just like those of you who have gone missing in a store or at an amusement park and your mom or your dad can't find you, it is panic. So his mother, who has held him close to her heart his whole life, can't reach out her hands to find him. His community, the people who know his family, they know his home, they know his traditions, they know his likes and dislikes, they know what he looks like. They can't identify the last time they saw him. They don't remember the last time they saw him. So there are things even the people closest to Jesus don't know. First and most obviously, they don't know where he is, right? But second and most interestingly, they don't know that he is in his Father's house. And that just blows Jesus's mind, right? When they finally find him, he's confused when his mother says, "We didn't know where you were. Why did you do this to us and not stay with us?" He's like, "What? How did you not know where I was? I was at my Father's house." Well, Jesus knows where his heart is. His heart is in the temple, right? His heart is there with the leaders and the teachers. In conversation, he's learning more and more about his Father and his upbringing and his faith. So he's in his Father's house learning. And he assumes that his parents would know that too. Of course, that's where he is. That's where his heart is. He'd been asking all kinds of questions about these things. He had been teaching them, right? And anybody who would listen, he had been telling them what his Father would want them to do, what God would want them to do. He had been getting up early every day to pray to his Father. So how could they not have noticed? How did they not know that that's where Jesus would be, right? So here's an example of sharing hearts in my life. So my daughter Emma is 18, and since she was a very little girl, she has loved to talk. She's an extrovert. She talks and she talks and she talks and she talks. And she wants to share all the details of her day with me almost every day. Now, she's an extrovert. I'm an introvert. Talking makes me tired. Having conversation with somebody kind of sometimes wears me out. And if it's after a long day, I'm really tired. And listening and listening and listening, it kind of exhausts me. But when Emma starts to talk, I really, really, really try to pay attention. I listen, I look at her, I give her feedback, I answer her questions, because I know that that is how she is sharing her heart. So I share my heart by listening, even if I'm tired, even if I'm in a bad mood, even if it's past my bedtime. We love each other, and so we share our hearts through conversation. She shares her heart by sharing the details of her day with me. I share my heart by listening to her and responding to her and giving her feedback and advice. Plus, she is going to go far away to college in just a few months. So I better listen while I can, because soon enough, I'm not going to have that chatterbox in my house like I have for so many years. So I wonder if when Mary and Joseph and Jesus finally arrived back at home, if Jesus pulled his parents off aside and they sat down on the couch and he said, "Let me tell you why I stayed behind. Let me tell you where my heart is. I stayed behind in that temple because my heart is there. My heart is with my Father God. And that is in the temple. That's why I stayed there." And he shares his heart with Joseph and Mary. And then I wonder if, as parents, if their hearts swelled to make room for all the ways that their boy was going to grow and change and everything he was going to teach them in the coming years. Your heart swells for your child. So this week, I want you to think about a couple things. Think about, and maybe write down, if you are a person that likes to write. I am a person that likes to write. I have a journal and I write in it. Think about who really understands your heart. Who knows your heart? Who gets you? And maybe tell them thank you. Maybe write them a note or give them a call or just talk to them and say, you know, I really appreciate you. And I am glad that you understand my heart. And then I also want you to think about some ways that you can honor the passions of other people that you love, even if their passions are different. For example, all 3 of my kids have played the drums, right? I don't know a single thing about drumming. I never played the drums. I never listened to the drums. I never learned how to play the drums. But all 3 of them had that interest. So I listened to them play. I listened to them talk about what was hard, what was easy. I watched them perform at half times because that was one of their passions. So think about ways that you can honor somebody's passion. Maybe it's your sibling, maybe it's one of your parents, maybe it's just an important grown-up in your life, maybe it's a neighbor. But think about how you can show them that you care about their passion and how you can share your heart with their heart, because that's what God asks us to do. All right, that is our devotion for this week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope to see you at church sometime soon. We will have a service Saturday night at 6. Enter at the west door across from Good Shepherd. Also Sunday morning at 9:30. And we will have youth group, high school youth group, 9th through 12th grade on Sunday at 5. Come on over and I don't know, we might hang out. We might have ice cream. We might just chit chat. Maybe we'll play a game. Maybe we'll go for a walk. We'll decide when you get here. But everyone is welcome. No membership at FLC required. Just come and take a break and relax and share your heart with somebody maybe. All right, everybody take care and enjoy the sunshine. I love you all.